It's very simple, and doesn't have to be learning Google Ads or Facebook Ads or anything. I would really get their numbers down. I would really, really get their numbers down. Let's go three-letter words. Um, their customer lifetime value.
Yep.
What their true profit is on it, because people also delude themselves on what they're profiting.
Yep.
And hit those hard numbers. Make sure that that you got them down.
Yep.
And then start advertising. There's what other ways there to build a business. So that's once they have those numbers down, start advertising and make it uncomfortable. Even go negative if necessary on your customer acquisition. Because if you're not comfortable with that, you're never gonna build a business. If you're not comfortable with knowing, okay, I'm $10 in the hole with this customer, but I know I can sell them another 100. I think that uncomfortableness, that's gonna force you to grow your business.
Yep.
But if you don't know, if you're flying blind, then you're not gonna have that that foresight to be able to do something about whatever business it is.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, get your numbers right.
Welcome to the $1 Million Equation Podcast, a podcast about the easiest, fastest way to build $1 million business based on the best-selling book, The $1 Million Equation. If you love business, each episode reveals all of the core fundamental essentials for growth. Now, here's your host, Richelle Shaw.
Once again, so this was the session that everybody said, I want to know, I want to know, I want to know. So when I was doing my surveys and asking, okay, what do you want to learn about? This is the one that they said, yes, I want to get into. And so once again, I reached out to one of my besties, Sergio Chavez, that has been working with me for, 6 years, 5 years. How long, Sergio?
Time, yeah. At least 5-6 years, yeah.
I know. It's a long time. So, he was there in the original MDE Live, the very first event I ever put on that was for the world. He used to come to my local events here, and we've just grown together and done some really, really, really cool stuff. So I'm excited to welcome to the show, to the summit, one of my business besties again, Sergio Chavez. Give him a hand. Yay! Yay! Hey, Sergio. Today we're going to talk about Google Ads versus Facebook ads, why you think that you like Google Ads better. But before we get into that, just give, 2-minute intro of who you are so that they can fall in love with you just like I do.
Okay, so I've been in the internet marketing space within many, many different competencies for 11 years now. I started in 2008 going to UNLV for a little web design program. I built my first website back then, and I stumbled onto the power of the internet while working for an insurance company. They paid for some of my classes, so I built a website for them, and by mistake, it became the number one website on Google for auto insurance Las Vegas. And that website back in the day, like 2010, 2011, was selling about $1 million worth of insurance a year through that. So then I've dabbled in everything from, building YouTube channels when it wasn't the thing yet, video, all of the Facebook ad stuff, always SEO, doing websites. So I'm pretty familiar with all the gamut of different things in the internet marketing space. Right now, I just specialize mostly on Google Ads. 80% of my time is all Google Ads. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. What I like, the way that I operate is that I like to bring at least face value to my clients, if not at least 10x. So I I can pretty much tell you I sleep very well at night because I know that any dollar that has been spent on my services has been returned at least once, not 10 times, sometimes even 100. It all depends.
Right, right. And I think that's what everybody's looking for, one of the challenges. And we're in all of these groups together, online Facebook groups together, and you'll see people saying, hey, I got my first client. What are your ideas on how I should build their business? And it's like, what? Well, how dare you go out there and sell this client before you know what you're doing? And I'm so just, people are gun shy and they're scared to make an investment. And so one of the things, and he's one of my secret weapons, you guys, that we use with my agency when we talk to doctors and go out with doctors, because we don't count clicks, we don't count likes, we don't count any of those things. We only count dollars. And so I have to have people on my team that know how to produce. And how do you feel about that when you see? I know you see it too out there that they go, any ideas?
I just ran into somebody the other day. It literally, sometimes it makes me even, I'm gonna say it, it makes me puke. Yeah. Because these people are approaching it from the sense of they saw some sort of program on the internet, and when they come into a client, they're approaching it from their own viewpoint in the sense of, I want to make money off of you. And that just stinks like fish, like literally stinks like fish. Whenever I come into a customer's, with whomever I consult, whether I'm going to do business or not, I'm always thinking about them, and in the sense, and the first thing that I'm thinking is, what is the base number is, what does a customer give them, so that I know how much what space of money I have to get them a customer, right? And most people aren't accustomed to that. Most small businesses, which I'm not dealing with anymore, I'm dealing with bigger businesses, they're always thinking about the cost, $500 for social media. But it's not about that. When you turn their head around and you start, okay, so how much does a customer give you? What's that's the customer lifetime value? And then they don't even have that number sometimes. So you come down with that, and let's say it's $100. So then, okay, I think I can get you a customer for $20. How many of those do you want? So then it doesn't matter if it's $500 spent or $1 million spent, because you can put in however many customers you want into that number at $20. And to this day, I see it every day. It's so simple. I think in those terms, and that's the way you got to think if you want to be successful, especially in Google advertising, because it's expensive. Yeah. And I'm saying it's expensive because there's niches where it can cost you up to $80 to get a customer, right? Yeah. But the thing is, can you figure out, if it costs me $80 and I make 160 out of those? That is on the business side of things.
Sure. So, well, me as a business owner, if it costs me $80, I don't care as long as I can make $80, right? So I just want, I don't need to make 160. I need to make 1-to-1, because me and what I teach everybody to do, of course, as in the $1 Million Equation and in the new book Speed, it's like, okay, we spend the most to acquire the customer, because now I have a customer, and then it's my job to get them to come and buy again. So I don't know if I've said this in any of the interviews, so I might as well say it now, right? There's only 3 ways to grow. 3. 1, get a new customer. 2, get your existing customer to come back more often, right? Or 3, get them to spend more with each transaction. That's it. So if I get you to acquire my customer, awesome, that's $80, right? Then it's my job to expand the transaction by using, upsells, downsells, cross-sells right then when they come in, so that now it can pay for that, which is amazing when it happens. It doesn't happen often, right, immediately, but it's my job too to do that 3rd way. It's get them to come back more often, because now I've paid for them, and now, we're on the other side. I've made the investment, and now my investment is paying for itself over and over and over again, So if they're looking at it as expensive or that it cost me, then I run away from those. And hopefully, one of the things that we're doing on this whole virtual summit is really changing the mindset of the audience from this is an investment. Your business is an investment. So many of them think that their house is the biggest investment that they've ever made in their life. And I go, oh yeah, how much was your house? Oh yeah, 300,000 or $500,000. Like, I invested, $500,000 to get certified in the telephone business. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, what? Yeah, it cost $500,000 to go to each public utility in each state. That's 50 states. It costs $10,000. So guess what? $500,000. You know what I mean? So to invest $1,000 to get, if you said $20, so to get 50 customers, oh my goodness. I built $1 million business with 1,000 customers.
Yeah.
1,000.
Correct. And that's the problem these days. You see all over social media all the promises of it's even more rampant these days of get rich quick and no money and
Sure.
No, business is harsh. Business is, it comes down to the cold numbers, not to what Ty Lopez or Gary Vaynerchuk are saying today on social media. That's completely opposite of what business is. It's cutthroat. It's it's numbers and cents. And you have to accept also that sometimes those numbers are not going to work out because you're using entities like computer algorithms that might not have the best interests, your best interests in heart, right? What they want to do is spend your ad money.
Right.
So.
Well, that's why you have to know what you're doing, right?
You have to be, you have to be a good steward. For me and my, in my business and what I do, I have to monitor all my accounts, probably probably a couple dozen accounts that I have to manage and see every day, so that algorithm doesn't eat you up, and check the conversions, check to see if those ads that you're putting in front of people are getting those calls or in the door.
Yeah,
have to be on top of that. That's,
sure.
I mean, that's what it's basically. And I mean, we're not showing a lot of bells and whistles of how you work out the platform, but I think people need to be educated more on the bigger picture, on the meta thinking before they do anything.
Sure.
Or put up a campaign. Go ahead.
Which is probably what we should get into now is, back before the only place that you could run ads was on Google, and then Facebook kind of came in and that became the rage. And so I know that you spent time in both places, and you used to be all Facebook ads. So why are you back just a champion of Google ads? Why did you choose Google over Facebook?
Well, I mean, let's put a disclaimer here.
Okay.
In the sense of better serving people, when I get asked which one is best, the answer is always it depends. And you can make both work, but it depends on where you are in business and what's happening.
Got it.
Why am I championing Google Ads more? Because the pendulum has swung so far up the Facebook ladder that I'm in all these groups of advertisers and people, and every day it's like something changed. I was paying $2 to acquire a customer into my email list, and now it's up to 20. And then it goes down to 10. And then they don't get anything. And then it's just every single day. And why is that? Because the pendulum has swung so far up that alley that all the money, all the attention is there by all the advertisers. And Facebook, I don't think, knows what to do and how to fit all that advertising into their algorithm. And it's just it's a feeding frenzy, right? And it's not
Yeah.
even your fault or your or it could be a hiccup on something on Facebook. So I think they're having growing pains in that sense. That's my perception and feeling. Um, but it comes based of very, very tangible observations every single day.
Sure.
Now, what's the difference between Google? I mean, if you see a graph of Google Ads versus a graph of Facebook ads, like on results and traffic, like Facebook is like all over the place. It looks like a frantic art, right?
Yeah.
Google, once you get it up there, it becomes a smooth curve, and you can start predicting when it's going to go down, when it's going to go up, because they have their platform very, very well figured out.
Ah.
It's been 18 years in the making. What I think Google Ads is 18 to 20 years old. And also, Google is more based lately on intent, right? You're not going into people's faces and forcing stuff on them. Facebook, that's what it is. Now, I'll give you the counterpoint to that. What I've been noticing on my Facebook ads is that if I respect people and I put up, like, if I'm going to put up a piece of content and I tell them before they even, when they're scrolling through it, I let them know this piece of content is about this. I think people feel respected to either look at it or just scroll through it. I think that's working very well right now on Facebook, but you have to come to from thinking from respect. Now, from respecting your customer instead of being clickbaity and putting in like mystery stuff and you know, like you want to get them to buy. For example, I mean, I'm selling funerals right now on Facebook successfully at a 20 to 1 ROI, but I'm respecting people. I'm telling them up front, we're selling funerals, right? It's like there's no hidden agenda behind it,
Sure.
and people either want it or not.
Yeah.
On Google, the difference is that people are looking for that stuff, right? So you're showing them respect actually by showing them a better answer to their question, right? So that it becomes, it's a whole another game. If a person's looking for an eye doctor and you answer the question, I just built a huge campaign for an eye doctor, and I'm answering every single question on every single service that the doctor does, and it's like 9 core services. But I'm answering the question exactly, you know. Like people will put in, I didn't know there's something called surfer eye. So then, and none of the other guys, the competition that I'm putting ads against are using that term. They're just using ophthalmologist. But if I'm like, I have surfer eye and I'm in Las Vegas and I want a cure for it, and then I see an ad that just caters to that, of course I'm going to go and click, and you know, you're more prone to get that customer. So it's a whole different focus, right? And you're going to get a much more, even if more expensive, you're going to get a much more customer that's willing to spend that money or to do business with you. So again, the answer is, I mean, it depends. But I mean, well, let's go back to the pendulum. So then so many people are putting that attention on Facebook ads, and that people are not putting attention to Google ads. But there's a little trend that I posted on my Facebook about a month ago. You actually liked it. Let me find it.
Oh, I liked it. I personally liked it.
So I'm gonna share post. Let me find it. A little picture. Here it is. So in September 22nd of 2018 on Google Trends, if you see the blue one is going to be Google Ads, and the red one is Facebook Ads. So now Google Ads are trending up more versus Facebook Ads. So I think we're in the verge of where people are going to start putting a little more attention on Google Ads. And as a business owner and as a business professional, of course, you want to be ahead of the trend. So I
Right.
would rather be giving those services and becoming badass at it, because also there's a lot of people that are not
No, that's great.
there.
And I think that part of that is that it's kind of like the stock market. I used to tell people if it's on the news, it's too late. Like you've missed the curve to buy this stock. You know what I mean? Because now everybody is, and it's driving up the price, and this is a false, gain. It's all going to correct itself, and I think that's the same thing that's been happening between Google and Facebook is that now that Facebook ads are all the rage, you're overpaying for the same click that you could have gotten earlier before when it wasn't all the rage, and now the competition is in, and you've got to kind of wait for it to course correct. Same thing with real estate. It's the same type of investment. Right now when the Raiders announced, by the way, congratulations Raiders ticket season holder, my friend.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna hit you up for some games, right? So um it's when they first announced that they were coming to Vegas, it was ridiculous, and our real estate prices went sky high. And so now I noticed that we've got lots of for sale signs, but they're not selling as quickly. And normally summertime is a really great time to sell your house, right? Kids are out of school, you want to get into the new house, you want to get settled before school comes, but it's slowed down. And well, why is it slowed down? Well, because guess what? Our number one industry here in Las Vegas is gaming, is casinos. They are the number one employer other than the state, right? So if you work for a casino and you can't afford to buy a house here, it's a numbers game. Same thing. So it's all going to adjust here in a minute, and this is this whole summit is about our economy. Doesn't matter who's president. You need to figure out, how to build your business in any economy. It didn't matter who was president. I built $1 million businesses in a slow economy, in a fast economy. It doesn't matter, because you have to understand these trends, these things that you're looking at. The same thing that you are ahead of the curve in, that's what people need to be with. And I don't come to you and go, look, Sergio, and here I am, the marketing expert, right? I don't come to you and say, this is what we're going to do this. I come to you and say, tell me what we should do, which is totally different. When you have a person on your team who is spending all of their time doing this, then yeah, I'll have some ideas, but you always reel me back in and go, all right, aren't we doing this? And I'll go, oh yeah. But you need somebody who is ahead of the curve. So you talked about it being a little bit more expensive than the other. So, there's Dennis Yu that's out there that pitches all the time that you can do $1 a day on Facebook and, build $1 million business. So I know, but a headline is a headline. It's a good headline.
It is.
So how do what's the minimum budget that you really like to work with on Google Ads?
Well, at least $1,000, at least, because customer acquisition right now on Google Ads goes on all your bread and butter industries and services. It's the low end $10, and the high end about $100. So yeah, I mean, if I don't have enough to experiment and get those 100 customers, probably that $1,000 is going to provide, then yeah, you can't see anything less than that. For example, like I was telling you, the eye example is going to be $2,500, right?
Right.
And I mean, I would shoot myself in the head if I couldn't get this person one customer. For an eye doctor, a customer is probably worth at least $3,000-$4,000.
Right.
On the high end, I don't know, but yes, I mean, you can Yeah, it's a higher ad spend. I don't know who's gonna be watching this call. For some people, that probably would be a heart attack. For me, I mean, I have campaigns that I'm earning $1,000 a day on.
Right. Right.
So
But see,
I've grown pretty
see,
accustomed or cold to
once
like the
again,
people's emotion on money because I know that's bringing 2,000 back right away.
every time, every day, right? So what they don't understand is that advertising is always expensive when it doesn't work. Okay?
Exactly.
But when it does work, it's an investment to get you, better cash flow. Because if you've got new customers coming through every day, then oh my goodness, you are in such a great spot. I mean, the reason why people came after me for the telephone company all the time and I got to pick who I sold to was because I had new customers coming in every day, and I had continuity from them. So once I got them in and then continuity, it was a wrap. There was nothing. Like they couldn't figure it out. They were all, oh man, how come she's killing it? Well, because I never turned off my ads. Never turned off my ads. Even when it cost me a little bit more, I was consistent. They heard my message. They saw my message. It was making a 1-to-1 no matter what. And then some days I would spend $1 and get $10. Someday I would spend $1 and get $1. But it all averaged out that my marketing budget got bigger and bigger and bigger because the business got bigger and bigger and bigger, right? In breakthrough, and I know that several of the folks that are watching this are involved in or going to be in my class breakthrough, and part of that is let's figure out what your budget is, right? If you don't have what you really want to invest in the business, then let's figure out a way that we can sell something really quickly to people that so that we can get that budget. Like just staying at this small one where we just sell the people that we know you haven't built a business. You've built this little hobby thing. That's not a business. A business is a system that generates new customers for you on a continual basis and that grows, right? So that's why businesses go out of business because they stop implementing the system that's generating new customers for them all the time. And then they wonder why they're broke. Okay, well, you're broke because you stopped that thing, right? It's like, do that thing.
What does Cardone say? What are we promoting today? It's always, what are we promoting today?
And it's not even, so here's the mistake that they also make is that when you sell to your friends, now you have to keep creating new shit. And it's very hard to leverage when you're in creation mode, right? So you're having a hard time, so then now we're starting and stopping. So you create, then you sell, then, oh my goodness, now I have to implement, now I have to deliver, now I have to create again. So you're going back and forth, doing this little, the hokey pokey, you put one foot in, you put one foot out. And as you're doing this hokey pokey, nothing works. You're not making any money. And so you go up and down and up and down, and you burn through credit cards, and then you finally pay them off, and then now the stress of having the credit cards were, it just is, it's too much. And most folks can't handle it. And the reason why is because you haven't created a system that has a consistent amount that you implement. And even if you start with $100, you build it up. So $1,000 minimum, but we know that with the $1,000 minimum that you're going to produce for them.
Thank you so much for listening to my passion project and the $1 Million Equation podcast. Love what you're hearing? If you like it, I love it. So click the subscribe button to get each week your new favorite episode.
So what would be, I mean, do you suggest that people do it themselves? And I'm not, look, he's my guy. So, you know what I mean? I don't need him to be so busy doing your stuff, but, do you suggest people doing it themselves?
I would not, and I will tell you why. Google, the way Google makes money, those billions and billions of dollars,
Yeah.
is out of what's called inefficiencies. Their platform, Facebook, their platform, like running the ads and the platform that it's let's call it it's a SaaS software as a service, right? Um, the platform is very confusing. It's not an easy to navigate platform, and they have not made it any easier. Um, in the sense of if people understand it, they're gonna be able to break through their inefficiencies, so they're not gonna make as much money. And I'll give you an example of an inefficiency. It's called negative keywords, right?
Yes.
So let's say you're bidding for LASIK surgery, right? So some people are not gonna type just LASIK surgery. They're like gonna type LASIK surgery free, which is a unicorn that will never exist, right? So if you're not checking that, Google tells you. Google gives you great data when people are looking for your term, what is showing up. So it'll tell you if it's showing for free. But to get to that is about 4 clicks. And it's 4 clicks to get there, right? They tell you that, Steve Jobs always wanted to make it 1 click or half a click or just a swipe, right? Well, to get to that place, it's 4 clicks, and it's hidden way, way, way inside the platform.
Yeah.
And then they set up the table so that you see all these numbers. CPA, CPV, with all these little 3-letter words, and it's just complicated as hell for, like, if you're running a business, like the people that are probably watching this call, I don't think they have the brain power to be able to digest all those things,
Right.
apart from what they're already.
After running their business.
The brain power left, yes.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain level of intelligence and experience in business and marketing, I think, to be able to be in the top of Google Ads.
Sure.
Yeah, because if you want to keep competitive, you're fighting first against the machine, which is Google. So you're fighting against their inefficiencies, which you have to keep abreast of all the time. And then, because LASIK surgery for free, somebody clicks, there's $20 down the drain, right?
Right.
And then just like that.
Right.
And to Google it, they don't care because it's just an algorithm.
No, yeah, they're still making their money. Well, I had a private client that wanted me to run their ads, and I'm like, I'm not really good at this, But so I jumped in the platform. I'm like, well, maybe I can figure this out, right? Silly Richelle. And this was years ago, because that's why now I don't run any of my clients' ads. Now, I can write copy for you, and I'll give you suggestions, and I'll do that. And I will manage the team to make sure that we're all on that same plan, but I don't run any ads. So while I was running the ad, these negative keywords were killing us because they do custom backyard basketball courts, right? And so they got more clicks of people looking for wanting to go and play a pickup game. So they would say, hey, is there a close backyard court, right? And so their phone was ringing off the hook, but it was the wrong customer. Yeah, and then all of a sudden we burned through the budget. And it's like, well, did we get any customers from that? And it's like, well, no.
Oh my God, yeah, those are the Google horror stories. Do we have time? I can tell you one more real quick.
Yeah, would love to. Would love to hear.
I was tasked with auditing a German restaurant here in Vegas. I'm not going to say names because it's going to be public, but I was tasked with that. And they had like a $20,000 budget, right, that they had to burn through. So I could tell right away that I went in, and 80% of their keywords that people were clicking on were strip clubs in Las Vegas and restaurants, right? And I'm like, I went into the forensics of this, and I saw, and like for German restaurants, the only traffic was about $300 because that's the only traffic to be had. There's a certain pocket of people just looking for that, and that's as much as Google can spend for you for
Right.
German restaurant, right?
Right.
So they were
Because it's all
spending.
based on how many people are searching, right?
Then I just made the numbers real quick in my head, and I said, okay, so let's say average ticket price is $50, and their half of that is profit. So how much does these $15,000? How many customers do they have? Does it have to bring out? And it's like, what is it? 4 times 30, 15. That's like 750 customers, and that campaign wasn't bringing in 750 customers just to break even, right?
Wow.
But it was an advertising agency that needed to justify a budget, right?
Right.
So that they could charge whatever their
Well,
fee
because they
is,
get a
probably
percentage.
$15,000.
You know, when you get a
It's either or,
percentage. Wow.
or they get a fee for it.
Right.
So then that's a caveat on these things that
Wow.
that there's horror stories, and just $15,000 just like burn $15,000 every month. It was a monthly thing. So yeah, there's those horror stories, and that's when you hear, oh, I tried Google Ads and it didn't work.
Right.
Didn't
Right.
have
Well,
the right
because you don't know what
person
you're doing. Right.
Yeah, and you didn't have the right person running it, or you needed to justify. These big companies have to justify budget, right? And it's for me, I can't sleep at night if I get a client like that. Like, you got to justify a budget, and I find it also with big companies. Now that I'm like deep in the rabbit hole, and I now understand why Google makes so much money. Not only the inefficiencies, now there's somebody doing it on purpose. That's like that's like you're going to
That's
hell.
the worst ever, you know? I mean, between you don't know what you're doing and those that do kind of know, well, I think that they don't know what they're doing, and they say, yeah, you know, I think you need this budget, right? And the customer says, okay, well, we've got about 50 grand a month we can spend. And they go, okay. And then they try to look for things to put them in, you know. I see it all the time that why would they, you know, this isn't their customer. Why would they target this person? I see it even in my Facebook ads. It's like, how did I even get targeted for this right here? And I think that they're just trying to burn through the budget and you know, try to get to the other side so that they can just continue instead of really delivering results.
Yes. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of an underground person. I just I go by my results. I don't go by, you know, people promoting ads on Facebook that I see and everything. I'm always worried because I know what's really going on behind the scenes.
Sure.
And it's not pretty. It's cutthroat. It's cold. It's a cold world, really.
It is. And
it takes
you
a
know,
lot of confront. It takes a lot of confront.
The crazy things that people do for money, right? And so, you know, that they will sell anything and then don't know how they're going to deliver it. And I get this, you know, sell it before you do it. I get that. You know, I definitely do those things. However, I also have built $4 million businesses, you know, real brick and mortar, without internet, without social media, without email, without, you know what I mean? Where I had to, you know, run radio ads and TV ads and newspaper ads and direct mail, all things that cost a ton of money. And I'm shocked when I watch people do things that they might not have done. All right. So go ahead. Well, two questions I always want to know.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. I will be quiet.
That's why I like your Richelle, because you base your stuff on time-tested principles. So it's always principles. And I think now more than ever, the business world has gone really, really awry on that. People are not they're basing on all the hoopla and everything that's going on around in social media, and they're forgetting the principles. There's basic business principles that have been basic since the time of the Phoenicians, and they'll keep holding up 2,000 years from now.
Absolutely. Which is why I tell them, you know, if you come through breakthrough, you know, my 14-day challenge, right? it's not even a lot of work, but at least get your foundation done so that when you build upon it, everything else is easy. It makes your Instagram stuff easy. It makes all your social media easy. If you're struggling on what to post, it's because you haven't done the core, basic 5 things, right? And so I just I just take deep breaths. It's all right.
Hey, MD Nation, can't get enough? Can't get enough? Hey, I've got another free training that I'd love for you to see. How to add another million this year. You can watch it for free by going to www.627figures.com. The number 6, T-O, the number 7, figures.com. You will see the 3 easiest things you can do in your business right now to get to the million faster. It's my favorite thing to do is to teach and train, so you can go and hang out, have some fun, and learn some stuff from me. Go to 627figures.com.
But before we go, there are 2 things I always love to ask. And so one is, tell me about your favorite client ever. Like one that you're like, this is my favorite client ever.
Favorite client ever. I'm actually working with them right now.
Awesome.
It's a very big company. They have sales of over 1.5 million every month. And it's just basic numbers. It's straightforward. We know our cost of goods. They got it all down. They got all their conversions down. They have everything going. And I have a good team helping me create videos. Right now, the big thing is YouTube. So we're cracking that nut, and we're cracking it really well. Right now, the big thing, if you want a tip and all that, YouTube's where it's at. And it's working pretty well. So I'm very, very happy because I'm getting to spend, I have a limited budget. I can spend $10,000 as long as I make a profit, right? So
right.
Those are the exciting clients that are like, are you spending more? Are you spending more? Are you spending more? Like, I'm figuring it out because, you got to spend and be careful that, for every dollar, I know that for every dollar that I'm putting in, I'm getting 3 back. So, but that changes. There's a curve where that stops. So you gotta be. That's why you gotta be on the hum. I'm very, very, especially on these big budgets. You gotta be like watching it like a hawk.
Sure.
And so that's a lot of fun. That's my favorite client so far. First time I get unlimited budget. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, my boss used to tell me that. He used to say, hey, the one boss that I have, everybody knows that story. I had one job and then I bought the company, right? And so he used to say, hey, look, you can do anything you want, just don't put me out of business. And it needs to be profitable. So you go, I'm giving you carte blanche. This is, a 23-year-old. Really? You give a 23-year-old carte blanche? But because I knew I couldn't put him out of business, I was always, mindful of, okay, is this going to work? And is it going to work right? Because I think once you get that experience, which makes me super confident now, which makes you super confident now, when it's like, okay, should we do this? You go, yeah, I'm positive I can get you these results at this because of, all the things that you've done before. So that's just fantastic. So what's the one thing that you think, or one area that people should be crushing right now? I think you kind of mentioned it already, but for, the rest of the year, this is like this pivotal point. We've got half of the year done. Now let's go crush the rest of the year. What do you think that they need to do? 1 thing, 3 things, 5 things? What do you think it is?
It's very simple. And doesn't have to be learning Google Ads or Facebook Ads or anything. I would really get their numbers down. I would really, really get their numbers down. Let's go 3-letter words. Their customer lifetime value.
Yep.
What their true profit is on it, because people also dilute themselves on what they're profiting.
Yep.
And hit those hard numbers. make sure that you got them down,
Yeah.
and then start advertising. There's what other ways there to build a business. So that's once they have those numbers down, start advertising and make it uncomfortable. Even go negative if necessary on your customer acquisition. Because if you're not comfortable with that, you're never gonna build a business. If you're not comfortable with knowing, okay, I'm $10 in the hole with this customer, but I know I can sell them another 100. I think that uncomfortableness that's going to force you to grow your business.
Yep.
But if you don't know, if you're flying blind, then you're not going to have that foresight to be able to do something about whatever business it is.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, get your numbers right. I don't sit down with a person without even myself forcing them to get their numbers right. And if they don't have them right, I just don't work with them anymore.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it because eventually they will think that it's expensive instead of.
And not only that, you end up being the responsible party. I'm very responsible. I take responsibility even for things that are not my own. But there's a certain point where that burns you. There's so many other business owners out there that I could go and serve better than somebody that doesn't know. And even if I help them, you're going to end up the faulty or responsible party for their failure. I can see that coming a mile away.
Yep.
And I just choose not to engage.
Yep.
With those customers. It took a while. You saw me when I was fledgling, and I wanted to please everybody.
We all do it, you know?
Yes.
But that's awesome. Thank you so much. I know that you are super busy. I see, all of the things running around in the background to get you, the 3 monitors. I finally got you to the right monitor so that they could see your handsome face. And I appreciate you just really breaking down, the 5 things people need to do if they want to run these types of ads. And I am grateful and gracious, and thank you so much for your time, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Sergio Chavez. Yay. There'll be information below so that you can find him, reach him, and work with him. But make sure you got your numbers before you call him. All right, everybody. Thanks.